Hey good people, so I want to do a video right now about something that is really heavy on my heart, which is the voting system. I posted a couple of things about this earlier on my Instagram page, which is this page deep on Instagram, and I want to talk about it in depth right now because there was an exchange I had with an organization that is mobilizing in the communities and doing a really wonderful job of bringing resources to the community in certain major cities around the country for black or melanated people. So firstly, let me excuse my son because he's potty training right now and he's making a lot of noise. Shahid, shh, shh. I actually just recorded this video and lost it somehow. When I went to transfer the file, it deleted itself from my memory card, which kind of broke my heart, but I'm going to record it again because, like I said, this is heavy on my heart and I really want to talk to you about a very serious message that is really needed in our community. So firstly, I want to talk about how this country has been established and where the government came from and how it is that voting is perpetrating oppression. So right now we are in a system that is this is so heavy, you guys. The system is working to oppress us. The system is doing exactly what it is designed to do. Voting has never and will never turn out any other results other than what it is now, because that is what it is designed to do. And we are ignorant in our beliefs to think that going to the slaughterhouse and telling them how we want to be slaughtered is going to help us to stop being slaughtered. Shahid, hush. Be quiet. Get up and go. Now, I don't understand how we're missing the point that insanity is defined by repeating the same act over and over again and believing that it is going to give you yield a different result. And voting is no different than that. We have to understand that for example, we like to say that because we can buy a big house, because we can drive nice cars and buy nice clothing, that we are free. And that's just simply an illusion. In fact, consumerism is the thing that is causing our government to be able to continue its grips on us in oppression. And in fact, the civil rights movement only dug its hooks even deeper into our flesh and caused us to have even more susceptibility and giving up even more of our freedoms to be rewarded with what they call civil liberties. Every time you consider yourself to be a citizen of a private corporation, which is, the U.S. government, then you subject yourself to the laws that are governing that particular entity or that body. We have to understand that we are not physical bodies, and we don't need the physical law of man to govern our bodies. We have our minds to control our bodies, and that's exactly what government means. It means mind control, or control of the mind. And we have to start to give credit to ourselves as spirit bodies and remember that we are connected to the land by way of our blood. And that's the reason why I really advocate for learning and reading and going into history and finding out what political science is. Because political science is a natural law. It is a science that is just like all other sciences. And it's governed by natural law. So those natural laws are the same natural laws that govern our bodies. Those are the same natural laws that go into our political structures and our political stance. So right now we are being made to believe that our vote as black people is actually having an effect on our living conditions in this society. In fact, it's not, because we're not black people. And so as long as we continue to go to our voting system or go to these structures and say, hey, I'm a citizen of your corporation, which is private, then you subject yourself willingly with that verbal agreement going into them, and then you have other actual agreements, actual contracts that you will sign using your straw man signature to actually agree to the systems, the laws, the policies that are being erected against you by this corporation, which has its privatized interests. And I want to talk even more about that as well, because the privatized interests that are being funded by human resources and natural resources are the very same things that are happening on a global scale. And so us using our energy and our resources to vote on a local level has absolutely nothing to do with the freedom that we're fighting for. Okay? Yes, you can mobilize, you can elect officials and put them into a local position, but think about what you're doing essentially. If that's a melanated local official that you're putting into the system, remember that the system overall has a goal of oppression. So no matter what person you're putting in the political office for them to make strides on a local level for your people, what you're not doing is making any progress on any higher levels. And what good does that do to anyone? On a local level, you can mobilize like New Era is doing right now in the community and get that done. You don't need to sacrifice these melanated political figures to the enemy and have them a part of the structure that is literally designed to kill them. They can't even show up to work with an afro. You know what I mean? They can't even go into the system and be expected to do anything that is worth doing on a regional or even global level, because they'll be stopped. They'll be silenced. They'll be roadblocked. You know, they'll be destroyed. And that is exactly what the system is designed to do. Now, if we have neighborhoods that are 80% gentrified or 80% undervalued or 80% anything, over imprisoned, targeted by the police, kidnapped, you have people that are sick, physical, environmental hazards that are being perpetrated in our communities. Come on, these are things that we can do ourselves on a local level. We do not have to go to a politician or a political figure to have them provide the provisions that are needed for us on our basic level of need. But what we do have to do is figure out how we can use our resources that we have right now. New Era has a following. They are going and mobilizing in the streets. There's a platform. There is an actual vehicle to move for change, because there is power in the people, and New Era has the people. New Era has numbers. But to shift these people from going from nation building with New Era and then pointing them in the direction of the enemy and saying, go vote in this system so that we can make more progress. These people, all you're going to do is notify the government that you are trying to make a movement, that you are trying to dismantle whatever dysfunctions they have erected in your community, and you're going to have them basically infiltrate in whatever ways that they can. That's exactly what they did to the Black Panther Party, and that's exactly what they will continue to do to any more organizations that are brought to their attention. Now, Martin Luther King said, but right before he died, that he felt as if he were integrating his people into a burning building. Now, we have to understand that this is the same burning building. This is the same organization. This is the same privatized corporation. These are the same agendas. This is the same propaganda. This is the same enslavement, the same oppression that he was talking about. The building is even burning now at higher temperatures. We're not just burning when it comes to civil rights. Okay, we obtained our civil rights. We were penny pinched and given these small liberties just to silence us and make us feel as though we were becoming more free. But my thing is that, you guys, we exist in nature in freedom already. We already have the ability to disregard the policies and systems and organizations and businesses and corporations that have been set up for us to fail. The ones that have been targeting us to kill us. The ones that have been setting up these structures and promoting and basically alluding to the oppression that we all suffer. Now, there's something to be said when we have leaders who are able to organize, who are able to give rhetoric to the people, and able to motivate the people to be more active in the community, but yet we don't have the foresight to say, let's keep this internal. Let's not try to integrate our organizations with that of our enemy. Let's try to mobilize our financial resources here. Let's try to use the human resources that we have in all of these people that follow us and try to get every person that goes into society and earns a keep today, they have a skill. Some people are administrators in society. They can administrate for our nation. Some people are technicians and engineers in society. They can do that for our nation. Some people are thinkers in society. They can do that for our nation. Some people are organizers. Some people are demonstrators. Some people are mathematicians. Some people are scientists. Some people are construction, they are made brick masons or construction professionals. They are the people who can do the same things that they do in the society for us, if we're able to give them the opportunity and the platform to do so. We are here to create opportunities for people to live and exist in their natural state of freedom. Again, political science is a science that is governed by natural laws. It has to do with contract law. It has to do with inheritance. It has to do with, maritime law. It has to do with, Oh, goodness gracious. I can't think of the other law I'm trying to get out my head. I'm going to move on because I don't want to waste my time. But it has to do with all these natural laws that naturally exist in our DNA. And it is important to note that you do not have to ask to be free. You are already free. You do not have to vote to be free. You are already free. You do not have to have permission to be free. You already exist in your freedom. It's up to you to express your freedom, not to ask for it. So when you go and you ask for the freedom from the establishment in which you're trying to cast your vote, you give them the ability to deny you the freedom. But when you just exist in your freedom and you just express it, then you're not asking for any, there are no more questions to ask. We've already asked them for integration. We've already asked them for equality. We have already asked them for a fair treatment. We've already asked them for justice. We've already asked them for reparations. We've already been asking them to stop murdering us. We've already asked them to give us healthy food. We've already asked them to take care of our bodies in the healthcare system. They are not doing it. They're not going to do it. Stop asking. Stop going with your hands out. You made a perfect point when you said, sir, that we're not here to keep on going they. It's about us. Give yourself the credit for the work that you're doing in the community. You are the one that is taking the attention off of the they and putting it into your own efforts to build your nation and your communities. You started off in Detroit. Now you're all over the country. You have how many branches now? 6? I can't even count. I don't even remember. But the point is that the power is already in your hands. You do not need to go and ask the enemy for permission to do what you've already begun to do. See the possibilities in what you're doing, Zeke. See the possibilities in what you already have. You already have a following. You already have power because you have people. You have support. You have attention. You have organization. You have skills. You have vision, you have purpose, you have passion, you have motivation. You already have the tools that it takes to set the foundation for your own organizations to invest in our freedom. We do not need to ask for it or any help. We do not need help. Do you know the Black Panther Party was being recognized by the UN? That is significant. That is major. The only reason why they were not able to progress is because they were under the title or the assumption that they were black. We are not black. If they had been there representing indigenous people, indigenous now, then they would have had the ability to be recognized under a national status that is recognized by the law. Indigenous people are recognized by the law. That is why Native Americans received what they did in reparations, because they are recognized by the law. We are also indigenous. We're more indigenous than we like to give ourselves credit for. So we have to be the ones to see the power in what we already have. When you see the value in the efforts that you're doing in the community, you won't feel the need to tell people to go vote. Tell people to go and do something that has not worked before. Someone else made a point that telling people not to vote is like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I would like to know how voting has any baby in it besides the unity that has to do with it. the organization, and the unity. There have been no globalized or universal effects for our people that have come from or as a result of voting. And so we need to get our minds off of the I need to ask for mentality and put it more so on the I am here to demonstrate mentality. I'm here to demonstrate my freedom. I'm not here to ask for it. I'm here to demonstrate my expressions of my culture. I'm not here to ask for the ability to do so. I'm here to represent myself and my community in the way that I see fit. I'm not asking for the ability to do so. Get away from here. Don't play with me, Shaheed. We need to go back into ourselves and recognize that there is a power that we have in our numbers. And there is no other power out there that matters. If we are able to collectively and consciously manifest the reality and the freedom that we are so focused on as we go and ask for it, instead of asking for it, can we not just think this power and energy that we have right here? We have human resources, we have natural resources, we have ourselves, we have our power, we have our support, we have money, we have resources. We have what we need in order for us to erect these structures. We already know what it's going to take. We already know what we need. We do not need to go and ask. So I beg of you, I plead with you to think about ways that you can go forth without asking how to go forth, without trying to garner up support from your enemy in order for you to go forth, but to simply go forth. Shaheed, get off of that, please. Shaheed, walk away. We don't need to go into these erected structures which have been erected for the purpose of keeping us separate. Like I posted in that quote from Abraham Lincoln, they never had any intentions on us living equally because we're not equal. And they recognize that.